want my baby. I know, and I'm not questioning God. I would never do that. Because I know all of us, as sure as you born, you're gonna die. But, your kids supposed to be burying you. But, I can't do that because I'm not God. But, y'all, this is a different type of pain. This is a different type of hurt.
Mobile, Alabama, Anders Drive. A quiet Friday night that was supposed to be routine, a Lash appointment like countless others. 23-year-old China Hickman, pregnant with her third child, welcomed a client named Canidria Davis into her home. But by 8:15 p.m., that appointment had turned into a crime scene. Police arrived to find Hickman shot, dying inside the home she used to build her business and support her 2 children. What sparked it? Investigators say it traces back to something almost impossible to believe: a $15 deposit. Within 24 hours, Davis was in handcuffs. Within days, the charge against her would escalate to capital murder.
The person arrested in connection to the shooting and death of China Hickman in court today for a bond hearing. The judge is holding Canidria Davis on no bond. She's charged with murder. Police say the shooting happened Friday night on Anders Drive. Davis is back in court next Monday for an...
This is the story of how an argument over $15 inside a home on Anders Drive ended 2 lives, and how one mother's fight to protect her time, her business, and her family became her last. On July 10th, 2026, Hickman was 23 years old, a mother of 2, and pregnant with her 3rd child. She ran her own lash technician business out of her home on Anders Drive, just off Ziegler Boulevard. Earlier that day, she had advertised a $20 lash special on social media, encouraging clients to book appointments. It was the kind of small business hustle that had defined much of her adult life. According to her family, Hickman had quit an earlier job once she learned she was pregnant and returned to doing lashes full-time so she could better provide for her children while staying close to home. That evening, one of her scheduled clients was a 29-year-old woman named Canidria Davis. Police would later describe Davis simply as a customer. But what happened between the 2 women that night did not stay confined to a routine beauty appointment. At approximately 8:15 p.m., mobile police officers were dispatched to the 1000 block of Anders Drive in response to a shooting. When they arrived, they found Hickman with a fatal gunshot wound. She was pronounced dead at the scene. In the hours and days that followed, investigators worked to piece together what had happened inside that appointment. According to Hickman's brother, Jalen, the trouble started because his sister needed to adjust her schedule that night. She was trying to push back or move some of her appointments because she needed to pick up her own children. The client on the other end of that conversation, he said, grew increasingly agitated. Family members would later say the disagreement involved a $15 deposit that Davis wanted refunded. Whether the dispute began over the money itself, the scheduling change, or some combination of both remains something investigators have never fully clarified in public statements. What is clear is that a disagreement over a beauty appointment escalated within the same evening into gunfire. Every case starts with evidence and ends with truth. We examine facts, not theories, details, not drama. Subscribe now and stay updated as we uncover the facts behind every case. By the next day, Saturday, July 11th, detectives had identified a suspect. Canidria Davis was taken into custody and transported to Mobile Metro Jail. At the time of her arrest, she was initially booked on a murder charge, along with 3 outstanding harassment or harassing communication warrants that dated back to March of that year. Those March warrants would soon draw scrutiny of their own. Jail records showed that Davis had a documented history with law enforcement prior to the Hickman shooting, including prior charges for harassment, reckless endangerment, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. Most notably, in March 2026, she had been charged with 4 counts of harassment after allegedly throwing glass plates at 4 children, ages 9, 8, 7, and 5. Those charges were still pending at the time Hickman was killed.
Kendria Davis murdered 23-year-old China Hickman.
This is tragic and should never have happened.
Hickman's brother says the dispute stemmed from a $15 deposit Davis wanted refunded for a lash appointment. On the day she died, Hickman offered a $20 lash special on social media and encouraged interested customers to send her a direct message to book an appointment. Her brother says Hickman was very busy on Friday and believes she was running late.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Frankly, it's horrible that a dispute of any kind could lead to a murder, much less a murder of 2 people. And so my heart goes out to the victim's family. This is tragic and should never have happened.
Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood says Davis's charge has now been upgraded from murder to capital murder, alleging she killed both Hickman and her unborn child.
For capital murder, the 2 possible punishments are life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. We have a process here within the office to determine what penalty we will seek, and we will be doing that as the investigation unfolds.
Jail records show Davis has previously faced charges including harassment, reckless endangerment, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. In March, she was charged with 4 counts of harassment for allegedly throwing glass plates at children ages 9, 8, 7, and 5. The pending charges resulted in a judge denying her bond at a hearing Monday morning. Andrea Ramey, NBC 15 News.
As the investigation into Hickman's death continued, prosecutors moved quickly to escalate the case. The Mobile County District Attorney's Office announced that Davis's charge had been upgraded from murder to capital murder. The basis for that upgrade centered on Hickman's pregnancy. Under the elevated charge, prosecutors alleged that Davis was responsible not only for Hickman's death, but for the death of her unborn child as well. District Attorney Keith Blackwood addressed the case publicly, calling it a tragedy that should never have happened. With the more serious charge in place, a bond hearing was held. A judge denied Davis bond, meaning she would remain in custody as the case moved forward. Because capital murder cases in Alabama fall under the jurisdiction of circuit court rather than lower courts, Hickman's case was set to be assigned to a Mobile County Circuit Court judge with an arraignment date to follow. While the legal process began working through the system, Hickman's family and community began processing the loss in a more immediate, personal way. Just days after the shooting, hundreds of people gathered outside the home of Hickman's mother, Chastity Bell, near Airport Boulevard, for a candlelight vigil. Mourners wore pink, Hickman's favorite color, and brought balloons, candles, and flowers to the gathering. Those closest to Hickman used the vigil to describe who she was beyond the headlines generated by her death. Her mother spoke of the disbelief of losing a child in this way, noting that children are supposed to bury their parents, not the other way around. Her sister, Tiara McCants, said Hickman had quit her prior job specifically after learning she was pregnant so she could pick her lash business back up and be present for her family. Her brother Jalen remembered her first and foremost not as an entrepreneur, but as a devoted mother who loved her children and worked hard for them. He expressed hope that her death would prompt some kind of change, rather than simply becoming another statistic attributed to gun violence.
She was a great mother. She loved her kids. She worked very hard.
23-year-old China Hickman was known for being soft-spoken but bold and having a big heart.
She was always strong-willed. She was smart, very smart.
Hickman's family says everything she did was for her children. The mother of two was pregnant with her third child.
When she found out that she was pregnant, she quit her job and she picked back up on doing her lashes. You know, that's something that she started years ago.
Her family says China had an appointment Friday night at her home on Anders Drive. According to them, a disagreement began between her and a client.
She was just enforcing rules. It wasn't about the $15. It was just the simple fact, a hard-working mother. She was even late to go get her kids from school. She had to reschedule some appointments, push some things back, and I think the customer was just irate.
Loved ones gathered Tuesday night outside her mother's home, wearing her favorite color, pink.
Let me tell you about that. Her entire house is pink. I'm talking about when you go over there, you're going to eat out of pink. You eating pink.
Balloons, candles, and flowers surrounded the family as they remembered a woman they say loved fashion, traveling, and bringing people together.
They lost their mother, they lost their sister. My sisters lost their nieces. I thought I couldn't have no more kids. And I had her. And that was the most beautiful baby you can lay your eyes on. I miss my baby. I just want my baby.
In Mobile with photojournalist Mason Terrell, Catherine Brooke, WKRG News 5.
Family members also pushed back against the idea that the case should be reduced to a simple dollar figure. While the $15 deposit dispute had already become the detail most widely repeated in news coverage and on social media, Jalen Hickman was careful to note that, in his understanding, the underlying conflict was less about the money itself and more about his sister enforcing the professional boundaries of her business, including her scheduling policies with a difficult client. As of the most recent reporting, several questions in the case remain open. Investigators have not released a full account of exactly what was said or done in the moments immediately before the shooting occurred inside Hickman's home. No funeral date for Hickman had been publicly announced in the days following the vigil, and with the case now proceeding through Mobile County Circuit Court, the legal process, including arraignment, pre-trial hearings, and an eventual trial, is expected to unfold over an extended period, as is typical in capital murder proceedings. What makes this case resonate beyond Mobile, Alabama, is not simply the outcome, but the scale of the disparity between the alleged trigger and the result. A dispute rooted in a $15 deposit for a beauty appointment ended with a pregnant mother of two losing her life, and a second capital charge tied to the loss of her unborn child. It also raises questions about the criminal justice system's handling of prior warning signs, given that the woman charged in Hickman's death was already facing unresolved harassment charges from an earlier incident months before.
A young Mobile mother who was pregnant with her third child was shot and killed at her Ziegler Boulevard home Friday night. Police say Kendria Davis murdered 23-year-old China Hickman.
This is tragic and should never have happened.
Hickman's brother says the dispute stemmed from a $15 deposit Davis wanted refunded for a lash appointment. On the day she died, Hickman offered a $20 lash special on social media and encouraged interested customers to send her a direct message to book an appointment. Her brother says Hickman was very busy on Friday and believes she was running late.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Frankly, it's horrible that a dispute of any kind could lead to a murder, much less a murder of two people. And so my heart goes out to the victim's family. This is tragic and should never have happened.
Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood says Davis's charge has now been upgraded from murder to capital murder, alleging she killed both Hickman and her unborn child.
For capital murder, the two possible punishments are life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. We have a process here within the office to determine what penalty we will seek, and we will be doing that as the investigation unfolds.
Jail records show Davis has previously faced charges including harassment, reckless endangerment, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. In March, she was charged with 4 counts of harassment for allegedly throwing glass plates at children ages 9, 8, 7, and 5. The pending charges resulted in a judge denying her bond at a hearing Monday morning. Andrea Ramey, NBC 15 News.
For now, Canadrea Davis remains in custody without bond, awaiting the next stage of a capital murder case that will be decided in Mobile County Circuit Court. China Hickman's family continues to wait for both a funeral date and a measure of the justice they have publicly called for since the night of July 10th, 2026. Her case stands as an active, unresolved chapter in Mobile's court system, one that began with a routine Lash appointment and ended with a homicide investigation, a series of escalating charges, and a community left to reckon with how quickly an everyday disagreement turned fatal.